It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Free to be you. Live, work, play, sleep. Allergy-free with ALLERGEX non-drowsy.
You know, it's the start of spring month. It's your feel-good breakfast show. You're on S3, and I feel like it's so important for us to not only celebrate this beautiful day where the flowers are in bloom and things are looking good, but there are people suffering too. Especially when the pollen counts rise, those itchy eyes come through, wheezy chests. Allergies can spark a whole bunch of skin issues as well, and these skin allergies can cause rashes, itching, burning, redness, bumps, hives, and swelling around the skin. But there's no need to panic because we have a dermatologist here that knows all about it. We have a professor, Ranks Lhuenya, and he's here to tell us everything we need to know about these allergies and what can be done about them as well. So, Professor, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you. I must just note that you are probably the most stylish professor we've ever had in the show, just to let you know. But it's lovely to have you, really it is.
Thank you very much.
So let's start. Allergies. You know, these are things that, I mean, I've dealt with my entire family, but then, of course, they manifest on the skin as well. And I want to focus on that for a second, Professor. Skin allergies, you know, what causes them as well? I think that I mentioned pollen now on the nose, but now we've got skin allergies too. So let's talk about what causes those different skin allergies.
There's a number of things that cause skin allergies. The most important of all of them is that your skin is designed to prevent things from getting into your body and from important things from getting out of your body.
Yes.
So generally, people with skin allergies tend to have a genetic predisposition where their barrier functions and the ability of their skin to prevent things from getting in or getting out is impaired.
Yeah.
So people who tend to be atopic, for example, have a genetic susceptibility to allergies, and that would be asthma, hay fever, and eczema. So those things tend to coexist together. So some people are genetic, there's a genetic predisposition, and then some of the things are environmental. So if that barrier function is impaired, then you are more likely to get things into your body that gives you allergies. Remember that by definition, an allergy means that you have an excessive response to things that normally you shouldn't be reacting to, or even if you're supposed to be reacting to them, your response is excessive. So the biggest problem, so the most important thing is that it's the environment and then the genetic predisposition. And then there's the other things that we do. Your skin has evolved over millions of years to protect everything inside. And over the last 100 years as humans, everything we learn about, we do it in excess. Our job is now suddenly to remove that very important top layer of your skin. We scrub it out, we clean it out, we remove it. It impairs on our barrier functions, and it tends to make us more susceptible to allergies.
Well, that's a very good thing to note when you are scrubbing those things out. But you mentioned something like eczema.
Yes.
I want to also throw in psoriasis. Are these actually skin allergies?
No, psoriasis is slightly different. In fact, in terms of how the mechanisms of how they develop, they're in two opposite ends of the spectrum. In psoriasis, your cells mature too rapidly.
Yes.
So basically, it's almost like a 5-year-old who's grown so quickly and looks like a 30-year-old and is expected to behave like a 30-year-old. They'll still behave like a 5-year-old. So the cells grow too quickly. Therefore, functionally, they are immature, so they cannot do what they do. That's psoriasis. So that's where the problem arises from. And that's why they shed scale and leave trail of scale wherever they are, wherever they go. In eczema, on the other hand, it's when you are responding excessively to things that are in your environment.
So, I mean, you covered a broad spectrum of how these things happen, the triggers, etc. But now the management thereof, because, you know, there are a lot of triggers for skin allergies, and now we have to have some sort of control. How do we navigate that scenario where we are faced with the environment, but of course we have to do something to protect ourselves and stop those triggers?
Yeah, so the important thing is that you can choose who you hang out with, you can choose who you marry, you can't choose your folks. So if you're genetically predisposed, there's nothing that you can do about that. But importantly, the exposures are important. So for example, people with eczema are always told to wash with bland soap, aqueous cream and such things. It's not that they necessarily stop the eczema, but it diminishes your exposures. So if you're going to get a product with 1,000 different ingredients, the likelihood of you getting an allergy to one of them increases quite considerably. On the other hand, you also have to try to protect your barrier functions. And one of the things that we started seeing, and most people will identify with this, is what happened with COVID and sanitizers. Sanitizers, alcohol is an organic solvent. It removes the oils from your skin. And part of that barrier function that you have on your skin is the oils that are there, which you wash off with excessive amounts of soap. And then the same thing happened with alcohol. Therefore, people suddenly started getting eczema and allergy from all of those things. So the idea is make sure that you protect your barrier functions and you minimize your exposures to things that are most likely going to give you allergies. And then there are specific treatments, obviously, once you've got eczema.
Wowza. This is fantastic. And, you know, I'm having a good time listening to all of this. But, of course, when it comes to being brave, and I think I want to just focus on this for a second. You know, what does brave mean to you? And with regard to, you know, of course, Adcock Ingram OTC, the sponsors of Brave, having to, you know, just contribute to what is a celebration of pharmacies. For you, as a professional in this field, a dermatologist, a professor, the Brave concept, what does it mean to you?
Look, I think, to me, and I'll start from the beginning, the biggest problem with humans is that whenever something comes up, we go excessively.
Yes.
Years ago, we viewed bugs were so bad and we need to eradicate all of them. But now we know that we need a balance between the bugs. The same thing applies to what you need to do to your skin. What's most important is that everything in moderation is always better. How much you wash is always. You don't want to clean and wash your skin excessively. At the same time, you don't want to smell so that when I walk in, the paths open and everybody gets out of my way. So part of what I understand about it is that you've got to be able to protect your skin, you've got to be responsible, you've got to be able to use medications that is appropriate. But one of the things that we often do is going back to discrimination against people with this. You will remember, for example, the classic example of the beautiful girl who was on the top 30 of Miss South Africa and what happened to her skin. And I'll take that concept of brave is that it's part of what we are born with, some of us. We cannot control your susceptibility to eczema, your susceptibility to allergies. Companies like your sponsors will help you to manage that, give you medication that will make it easier and better for you to function. But in the same breath, there is the social issues that are there, where you find that people who have these skin conditions like an eczema, apart being functionally impaired, not being able to sleep, half asleep at school most of the time the children get, we've got to have that social embracing of them that we need to help them as much as we can in all aspects of it. So to me, I'll take it a little bit in a different direction, that it's a very holistic approach we've got to take. And
I love that direction as well. This is why you are the professor for the job. Professor Lehlwenya, giving you a bit more about skin allergies and, of course, the info that you need. Now, September is National Pharmacy Month. Self-care is a human right, and your pharmacist is your partner. Support your local pharmacy. They are the pillar of your community. And this is brought to you by ALLERGEX, non-drowsy, in proud association with Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, building communities, one pharmacy at a time.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned until finally South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with ALLERGEX Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.